And it's time for sports here on Breakfast Central. Let's take a look at what's happening. Well, there's no other than the big story that the Nigeria Football Federation have been hit with more than $150,000 fine and a one-match ban, or I'd say behind, playing the one match behind closed doors by FIFA following the events of the Qatar 2022 World Cup qualifier against Ghana in Abuja. Now, you do recall what happened as soon as that game finished. You had a lot of persons, you could call them. Some said they were social miscreants who actually jumped onto the pitch and continued to commit havoc and wreck the government properties as well. Well, these punishments were contained in the latest FIFA disciplinary report dated the 28th of April 2022 and made available to the press on Monday, the 2nd of May 2022. Nigeria was found to have failed to ensure law and order are maintained in the stadium, invasion of the field of play and throwing of objects during the match that took place on the 29th of March 2022. On the other hand, Algeria were fined around $3,000 for throwing of objects and lighting of fireworks during their match versus Cameroon. Nigeria got the second highest fine after Senegal, who were fined over $170,000 following their match against Egypt on the same date. Senegal's misdemeanors include laser pointing. If you recall, Mohamed Salah was indeed playing there, and he had some sort of laser, shining on his face, especially during the penalty shootout as well. And laser pointings and so on, using of objects to transmit a message that is not appropriate for a sports event. So Senegal, like Nigeria, will have to play one match behind closed doors as part of the punishment. And that's exactly what the sports story is indeed saying. So it's a big story. A ban, of course, players not going to be playing outside or having their supporters cheer them up. They'll be playing behind closed doors. But you know what? Let's see if we can definitely get our guest who joins us this morning. Favor Itwa, a sports commentator, will be joining us to discuss this particular story as we will look at FIFA sanctions, Nigeria, Senegal and Algeria. I'm going to bring them all into the story as well, looking at the fact that you have a game in hand that could have taken Nigeria to the World Cup, but unfortunately we just could not win that match. And for the fact that we couldn't win that match, we had a lot of fans who were unhappy, and they jumped on the football pitch and decided to start breaking and messing things up.
I was highly embarrassed when I saw that. In fact, at some point, I saw tweets of people saying that they're happy that Nigeria didn't win because it showed a lack of sportsmanship. It was very poor behavior. It was just basically like a last born throwing a tantrum, but a very dirty tantrum. And I really hope that we can learn our lesson from this and not find ourselves in such a situation again, because if we call ourselves the giant of Africa, we must lead in behavior, in integrity, in character, and in sports. And that's not how a giant behaves. Very, very appalling behavior. Very appalling behavior.
Most importantly, looking at the fact that Nigeria was really looking to go for this World Cup in Qatar, and they just could not qualify. The qualification was not because the fans were just cheering them. The qualification had to be done on the football pitch.
Yes.
And guess what? The players who didn't qualify the country left the football pitch, and then you took out your anger and annoyance on the football pitch.
So I think also we have this overzealous fan spirit in Nigeria, and we take it to a lot of...
But should that affect a football pitch?
No, it should not. And it's with not just with football. We find that this happens in a lot of areas. We find that even in the entertainment industry, reality TV, fans of this are dragging fans of that other person. In the music sector, we find that fans of, I think, Wizkid FC and fans of Davido are clashing. We take fanhood a little more serious than we should. I mean, it's brilliant. You can be a fan and show great spirit of sportsmanship, but be okay. You don't have to win. You have to teach, and it's lessons that we have to learn from home. Teach your children that they can't always win.
I like that. Lessons that you can learn from home. So says Olive. Well, we're just going to leave it for that note. But you know what? Let's delve a little bit deeper. Favor Itwa joins us here. She's a sports commentator. He's a sports commentator. I beg your pardon, Favor. I don't know why I keep saying she, because I do have a friend who's Favor, and I keep saying I keep calling her Favor. So probably that's stuck in my head. Thank you for joining us here, Favor. Let's take a look at this particular story. FIFA has eventually decided to place this sanction on Nigeria. And unlike other countries, Nigeria has the second highest amount to pay. But besides that, we were expecting this to happen, and it has indeed dawned on us that it's here. What's your take on this?
Okay. Good morning, guys.
Good morning.
I envisaged this happening. I was in Abuja live when the incident occurred. That was in March. And it was similar to what happened in, I think, 2017 or 2015 when Nigeria played Egypt in Kaduna. We also had similar incidents when FIFA clamped down on us. Over the past few years, this has been an issue going across Africa, Nigeria, even the world system, whereby we have pitch invasions. And the dynamics of this thing is not just about FIFA or CAF. It's the fact that federations, which is, of course, for Nigeria, the NFF, also has the right to clamp down on whoever is the offender of such incidents like this. For instance, in Africa, we've seen several times whereby countries, their FAs, probably identify the fans or identify the persons who have, invaded the pitch in one form or the other. We've also seen fans come out to, take selfies with players, which of course is not allowed at the point of the game. And we've seen them being prosecuted, through the courts. There's a court that, of course, cases are reported to. There are several ways, this can occur. Talking about, pitch evasion and curbing pitch evasion. So FIFA, they did the needful. Not just about Nigeria. We've seen other countries who also got down on this particular list. Lebanon, Senegal, Algeria, you talk about Chile, lots of countries like that. We, of course, who got into this same similar situation. But for Nigeria, it's so sad. We didn't qualify for the World Cup. We expect that, the fans behave themselves. But we saw what happened. They came into the field, scattering properties of the MKO Abiola Stadium. And at the end of the day, the NFF condemned it, but we did not see any form of,
sanctions,
punishment from sanctions from the federation, which of course it doesn't boil down to FIFA, it doesn't boil down to CAF alone. The NFF is supposed to take measures to prevent further invasions by fans or whatever persons. So I think for the NFF, this is not the first time they're getting this fine. They also got the same fine against Egypt in Kaduna. And the question is, are we going to learn from issues like this? It's so disappointing and so sad that this had to happen. First of all,
okay, go ahead, please.
First of all, the NFF, it's their match. Before you talk about FIFA or CAF, they are responsible for the match. Whatever happens in the match, in terms of securities, they have to work hand in hand with the FA in the state, and of course they are the owner of the match, the Nigerian Football Federation. If it was from a local angle, maybe for a state angle, we can say, okay, the FA of that state, which is probably maybe for instance in Lagos State FA is in charge of anything footballing event in the state. But when it comes to the national level, the Nigerian Football Federation is in charge, even going down to the securities. So that's why you see that anytime fines come, it goes straight to the FA. And then that's how it is.
Favour, you've spoken so strongly about the fact that you think that the NFF should put strong measures to ensure that invasion of pitch and misbehavior from the fans does not happen again. What would you say are some of the measures that should be put in place?
All right. First, there are numbers of, talking about security personnel, with due respect to them, I think they also need to undergo some certain kind of training. We see in matches in Europe, matches in Africa, security personnel who come into the stadium, majority of them are not facing, the match, rather they're facing the fans. What we see here in Nigeria is a different scenario. Security personnel most times are carried away by what is happening on the field of play, and also do not judiciously do what they are supposed to do. Also, the number of seats at the stadium, 60,000 capacity at the Abuja National Stadium, we saw that it was filled up. We also had fans outside the stadium hoping to get access into the stadium. That very day, we had more personnel or more fans than the required seats in the stadium. So the NFF is supposed to ensure that, okay, we have 60,000 capacity. If it's 60,000, let's ensure we don't have any more persons coming to the stadium. And also the barricades. We should not just have, policemen or the army personnel. We should also have stewards. These stewards would ensure that, they are in the right place at the right time to ensure that fans do not gain access to the stadium. And guess what? After the match, it was obvious that the security personnel, They just felt, okay, we finished the match. Let's, divert to other things. The match is not over until everyone in the stadium has left the stadium before you now say, okay, we are done with our jobs. So it goes down to training of our security personnel on football matches, not just about, saving lives and properties alone, but this is football, and should be, should be arranged in a way that we avoid seeing things like this. Yes, you might want to say we might not totally have eradicated football pitch invasion in the world, but we can at least put it to the minimum, put it to a very, very, very minimum point whereby we don't have, occurrences like this. In the Premier League, we also see pitch invasions from, fans, but it's not like, it's not in mass. It's just probably one or two persons coming to the field to probably, go and look for a player or try to attack a player, unlike what we saw in Abuja, whereby a lot of persons gained access to the stadium, started destroying properties. It got to show you that if anything would have happened in that stadium in that particular day, the fans are not safe. The players are also not safe for what we saw. So the security personnel need to undergo training. Number two, before the match, there should also be a way whereby each and every barricades and gates are being manned by them too, because there are major exits and major points at the MK Abiola Stadium, not just the MK Abiola Stadium, in other centers. There should also be and also fans, training or orientation. The fans need to be educated. The fans need to also be sensitized on the need for them to ensure that they behave themselves. Because at the end of the day, you're bringing fine to the country. The country is here to look for money to pay coaches, pay players, and they are incurring the fines, over 60 million. So these are things that they need to do. Sensitization of the fans, training of security personnel is something I think that will go a long way, to get the best out of it. And also, one thing that didn't go down well, which I would say, is the fact that the persons that came to the stadium, I would say, were not totally football fans. I mean, we saw how tickets were being given out for free by some politicians to come watch the Super Eagles. Unlike some persons who would have paid their money to come watch the Super Eagles fans. I can't pay close to 20,000 to come and watch Super Eagles and destroy properties. It doesn't make sense. So going forward, we should try and have football fans, people who are passionate about Nigeria, people who are passionate about the NFL, the Super Eagles, other than having persons who just come around because we want to fill up the MK Abiola Stadium. I think it's something we did that went wrong. I would say I anticipated what would happen even before the match. Even before the match ended, I knew it was going to be like this. And at the end of the day, when it happened, I was not surprised because, of course, when you look at these persons that has done this, Nigeria lost in Uyo against South Africa in 2017. There was nothing like this. The fans were not happy, but they went home because they understood that it happens in football. You either win, you either lose, or you draw. So I think going forward.
So Favour, okay. we can rightly say that a majority of the people that carried out that act, according to those who were there, like yourself, were not true core football fans. They were possibly social miscreants who were given free room to come and watch the game.
Exactly. I would say, for instance, that particular day, we saw what happened. And if you come close, I don't want to just, because of course we're on live TV. If you come close and you see what happened, you definitely know that these guys, yes, they might have watched football in the past, but a true football fan will not do this. I mean, we have seen games whereby the Super Eagles do not play well. In Lagos, Nigeria lost one of its qualifiers to the African Cup of Nations in Lagos, but everyone was just there. I mean, we could see that the fans comported themselves. Yes, they were not happy. Even in Benin, we saw how the players drew against Sierra Leone, but it was not the same. We've also had cases in different parts of Nigeria where Nigeria did not show the never say die spirit, but the fans went home like that. So they were not football fans. So going forward, we should try and ensure that whoever wants to come watch the Super Eagles should pay their way to the stadium. I mean, we should not have, because what we saw in Kumasi. I was in Kumasi in Ghana when Nigeria played Ghana goal draw. I was in Kumasi. The stadium was filled to the brim. And I can tell you that they were football fans. Was it a good result for Ghana? No. But the fans went home. I mean, they didn't do anything like pitch evasion. That's to show you that these guys understand what it means. To come support their darling team. So, it's not the same in Nigeria. Saying you have 20,000 tickets to share, you have 50,000 tickets to share, there are free buses to give to fans to come to the stadium. They are not bad, but you're trying to bring every Tom, Dick, and Harry to come watch the Super Eagles, not people who are passionate. If you notice that when the Super Eagles were playing that very day, the chance, if it's a football fan, you get to see the kind of way the chance come to the Super Eagles players, but it was not the same. We just saw some set of fans whereby when the going is good, they keep on shouting. When it's not good, they just keep to themselves. And that's not what we have been seeing in the past for Nigeria. I mean, so disappointing that we have to get this kind of fine. Remember, we have issues of payment of draw our former coach. You've not settled that, and you're having over 60 million fine on this. So it's not really good at all.
It's not really good. And you've spoken so well, Favor. Thank you so much for joining us, by the way. I mean, we could go on and on and on. So many aspects to look at, especially with this FIFA sanction. But you know what? Thank you for being here on Breakfast Central. We did get to your point as well.
Thank you very much.